Alright y'all, here we go. So it got dark on me out there, started raining. So we went ahead and finished them up. I let them come up to about 205. Brought them in, they've been resting. So here we go. Looking pretty darn good there, if I do say so myself. So, what I'm going to do is I'll just put one on a plate for demonstration purposes. Look at that bad boy. Looks nice. So let me get a spoon. Hey everybody, Mike Chavez here once again. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. Alright y'all, today making something kind of special. I haven't made this in a few years. I got another video. I'll leave a link up there so you can see that. But what we're making today are barbecued or smoked beef shanks. Okay, now beef shank is off. These beef shanks are off the these are hind quarter beef shanks, so they're off the back leg of steer. Okay, so they take and slice it like a steak. I'll show you here in a second. They have a marrow bone in the middle. Hopefully I get some marrow out of them. We'll see. These have a lot of connective tissue. There's not a lot of fat, but there's a lot of connective tissue, so these take some time to do, low and slow. So what we're going to do, we're going to put them out on the grill. We'll probably put them on the S&S grill at low and slow until we get some bark and some color and some good smoke on them. Then we'll put them in a pan with some beef stock and maybe a few vegetables, some onions, some garlic. We'll see what else I'm going to put in there. And we'll bring them up to about 200 degrees internal till they're nice and tender. And these are delicious, beefy, and good. Okay. A lot of folks make oxtails. These are kind of similar but bigger. Okay, and not as expensive. Of course, beef's so high today. So anyway, let's go ahead. We're going to season these up and we'll get them out on the grill. Okay, let's do it, because this is winter time's coming up. Days are short, calling for rain later, so let's try to get these done. Alright y'all, let's do it. Alright, so here's the shanks. You've got a lot of meat around the bone. So these are, if you can see this, let me move this over. So these are beef bone-in hind shanks, sliced. Okay, $5.29 a pound. So that was $20.90 for almost 4 pounds. Of course, you do get a lot of bone, which I don't care for. Looks like we're going to have some marrow out of them, I hope. So let's get these out of the package and we'll get them seasoned up. Alright, to rub these down, what I decided to use, I got some Baron Burton's W sauce. So this is Fireshire, a little spicy. And we'll use Cosmo's hot cow cover. Alright. So, put a little bit of this. Now, we're just putting this on here for binder. And it'll give it a little flavor. Get this on here all the way around. Down the sides. Get our rub. The rub on there. So this rub is nice and coarse. Got a lot of good stuff around the outside. Alright, flip it over. So now this one I got kind of ripped off. Look at the size of the bone on that side. There was no way to see that side though, so oh well. That's alright though. There's a lot of meat on these. These are nice and thick. Alright, season this side up. Alright. So we'll leave these here at room temperature for a while we go get the cooker fired up. Alright y'all, so let's get this thing set up. We're going to start out low and slow. So let me get my torch, a tumbleweed. Alright, tumbleweed, torch. And we'll get our charcoal. So, we'll start out with a little charcoal. Spread it out. Put a little more. Then we'll take our tumbleweed, stick it right there. Just kind of leave a little gap here for now. We'll fill this gap back in later once we get this lit. So I just want to light these few in the front to start with. Take some of these out of here. There we go. So once these get lit, I'm going to put some hot water in the trough here. We'll push these coals back up, and we're going to run this thing, try to run this grill about 250 or so, 300 at the most. So if you can see it down inside, there's a vent right here that opens, so I'm just going to leave that cracked. The rest of the vents will stay shut. That's going to be our only source of air to start with. So we'll get this going. And we'll set it up the rest of the way. Alright, see you in a minute. Alright then, so these coals are lit right here. Put these back out. So we'll get a kind of a chain reaction. I'm going to get me some pecan wood. I'll put some at the beginning, a couple over here. We don't need a whole lot. Alright. Then, got some boiling water. We'll put in the water trough. That'll help regulate the temps. Okay, cooking grate on. All right, so I got a new, it's called Grill Art, new grill brush. This one, haven't used it yet. This will be the first time. See how good it works. Seems to work well. Alright. So, we're going to go ahead keep an eye on the temperature of the grill itself. So I got my little hole here to go through. Put my grill monitor there. Alright, we got our little vent down below, barely cracked. So let me turn this thing on. My my smoke thermometer. Lid on. Alright. So we got that small vent open, cracked. I'll do the same up here. I'll just crack this one. Barely. All right. So, we'll see how, bring our temp up to about 250 or so, and then we'll bring the shanks out. All right. All right, y'all. So we're at about 220, 223, 222. So I'm going to go ahead and put these on here. So these shanks are looking pretty good. Alright, get that probe in there. Here we go. Get the lid on. Want that temperature to get away from us. Alright, so I want to get this internal temp of the meat. So right now it's at 48. So I want to bring that up, I don't know, for about 160, 165. Then we're going to put this in the pan with some onions and beef stock, little garlic, and braise them until they're about 200 degrees, nice and falling apart. All right, so our temperature of our grill is coming up pretty quick. So hopefully that'll back off, and we'll back off on these vents a little bit. I don't want that too hot. I really don't want it too much over 300. So we'll keep an eye on it, adjust as necessary. Alright, see y'all in a little bit. Alright, y'all, it's been a couple hours. We're up to 174 internal. You can see it over here on this one too. And the cooker's at 133, so it ain't too bad. So what I'm going to do, I want this to get up to about 160 or so before I put it in the pan with a braising liquid. But I'm going to go ahead and get our braising liquid ready. So I got onions and garlic in this pan here. So what I'm going to do with this, open this up. I'm going to put this over here on top of the charcoals, and I got some beef broth or beef stock. Okay, and we're going to pour that in there with the onions and garlic. That's going to be our braising liquid. All right. So these shanks are looking pretty nice here. Turn them a little bit. Looking pretty nice, I must say. Make sure that's out of the way. Lid back on. I'm going to open this up the rest of the way. And I got the little vent open. So I'd like this up to, I'm going to try to get this up to about 250, the cooker. The meat is up to about 156. That's close enough. We're going to go ahead and get this in the braising liquid. So it's nice and bubbly. So we'll get our shanks, lay them in the pan of the braising liquid. Pull this on over. Let me redo this probe. Okay. Foil. Alright. Get the lid on. Alright, so I'm going to try to let this meat get up to about 200 degrees or so. Hopefully this cooker doesn't go out of spec. Alright y'all, done gone dark on me again. Look at that. This time of year, let's get a little light on the subject. Alright, so we're at 201, if you can see that there. Let me take a peek here. Oh yeah, that feels much better. 98, 99, 200. Feels pretty good. Still a little bit tight. Not too bad. I think I'm going to let this go just a little bit longer. Not too much. So, let's seal this back up. We're almost there. Alright. Alright then. We'll be back. Alright y'all, here we go. So it got dark on me out there, started raining. So we went ahead and finished them up. I let them come up to about 205. Brought them in, they've been resting. So here we go. Looking pretty darn good there, if I do say so myself. So, what I'm going to do is I'll just put one on a plate for demonstration purposes. Look at that bad boy. Looks nice. We'll get some of the au jus. Now you can strain this if you wanted to. You could add carrots. You could add added carrots or celery or whatever you want to that. So we're going to go ahead. We'll put some on the meat. Eat it with rice, mashed potatoes, whatever you like. So, let me get this out of the way. There we go. Beef shanks. Give me a fork, a knife. We're going to sample this. Y'all ready? So that's the inside. Looks pretty good. Cut me a few pieces. It's cutting really nice. Alright, let's give this a sample. Alright y'all, here we go. Barbecue smoked beef shanks. So we started this out. Put a little W sauce, put some Cosmo's hot cow cover. We put them out on my kettle grill, my S&S slow and sear kettle grill. We let them cook for 3 or 4 hours at about 225, 230. We made some braising liquid out of beef broth and onions, and we put them in a pan, covered, and let them braise until they come up to about 205 degrees. So here we go, y'all. Look at that. Let me bring my light down so you can see it good. Now, beef shanks, relatively inexpensive and relatively delicious. Y'all ready for this? I'm ready for this. Taste! Oh my goodness. Delicious. Tender, fall apart, a little smoky. Good seasoning. One more time. Taste! Right on. So beef shanks, good stuff. Also known as ossobuco. Didn't get much marrow out of the deal. But what we did get delicious. So alright y'all, thanks for stopping by. If you enjoyed the video, leave me a thumbs up. Got some more videos over here you can check out. If you haven't done it yet, click that subscribe button, y'all. Thanks for coming by. We'll see y'all next time.